What up, world? It's your boy Mark Walter Ward, the Big Fact Show. We got a special guest today, Boston's own Tru-L, a Skull Gang representative, an incredibly talented artist, an actor. You might have seen him on Hulu's Castle Rock. How you doing today, brother?
Doing excellent, man. It's your man Tru-L, Truest Realist Undisputed Lyricist, Mattapan's Goldenboy, Fatal Family, Skull Gang, salute. Shout out to the big homie Juelz Santana. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the love, all the support that you've been showing me. And just taking it one day at a time, staying above float, Truology, the new beginning, all on digital platforms now. It's doing real good. I brought in about 250,000 of streams and views all together throughout the project. So I'm real happy about that. I got my song with Junior Reed made it on the Grammy top tracks list. So
Congratulations. That should go hard too.
Thank you.
I
I'm happy
I listen
about
to
that.
a little frequently.
Yeah, so I'm really happy about that. I got the new album that I'm working on too. It's called My True Feelings.
You know, I want to give a shout out to you because you weren't just Juelz's friend to make some music. You was visiting them, writing them, keeping. There's
actually I wrote him and stuff. I couldn't go visit him because my past felon, me being a past felon. But as far as speaking,
didn't you like give Kimbella a ride up there or something like that?
Nah, Kimbella, those was the good guys from my camp, you know what I'm saying, that she would ride with up there. But Kimbella got her own car and stuff like that. So she was going to see Big Homie on a regular.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I wasn't trying to insinuate that, but sometimes after that VI, you might not want to be the one behind the wheel on that long drive by yourself, get a little emotional.
Yeah, definitely, man. But shout out to Kimbella, sister's doing good. You know what I'm saying, from what I see.
I just want to make sure you get your credit for that. There's this humongous Dipset Facebook group that must have over 10,000 members. And the whole time he was gone, you kept his name up in there, shared music that you had with him, shared music that was just his. I remember when the Free Santana album came out, you were promoting that shit like it was your name all over it.
Yeah. That's how he got a project coming called Santana's Free too. So he just working. And then we got the EP.
Yeah, y'all got a joint, right?
Actually, yeah. Couple of records. You know what I'm saying? So we working, and he trying to really get back to what he need to do. Juelz got a Big Homie's he's a music holder. So he got so many records. Yeah, he got a lot of records.
Without being too nosy, what's the craziest shit you heard that we ain't hear? Because I know you must have heard of some of them. I can't unreleased. I can't feel my face tracks, but I bet you there's something crazier than that.
Yeah, that was actually the latest records that I heard off that project was released on Free Santana, but those was already previously recorded. But one of my favorite records was the boil water in the pot.
Yeah, that shit with 2 Chainz.
Yeah. So that was a good record. Like I was telling Big Homie, like that was when he was incarcerated. I told him, I said, yo, that's one of the records right there. I said, yo, when you get home, you should do that video. And then I also told him, link back up with Cameron, and y'all should link back up with Jay-Z, because when Juelz was down,
I see where you're going.
They performed Welcome to New York City for the first time, and I was like, that would be good for your momentum. You coming out, and there's a Diplomatic Immunity 3 coming. Like I was just giving him certain things that he should do, and to lead up to his, build his momentum of making his return to the industry. And that's one thing, bro always valued my opinion. So yeah.
Man, I value your taste in hats. I had to take my glasses off. What you got going on over there? That shit is fire.
It's the American flag.
On the back of a red side. Okay. I see.
you know.
I fancy myself a little bit of a hat connoisseur, so when I see something outstanding, I gotta investigate.
You had, you know, it's funny because like yesterday, because I didn't even go to the barbershop, but I got like my own clippers, so I shaved some of my stuff. And then I was laughing at what you said. You was like, you don't need no haircut. You got all them hats over there.
Yeah, I be seeing them, bro. Like shit, I ain't afraid. Now I probably won't walk up on a dude I don't know and ask him where he got some shit from. You know, that might be jumping the line a little bit, but I definitely show appreciation.
I really have to really say thank you, man. I was just speaking to you. I was just speaking about you. I was on the phone with young Rizzy earlier because me and Rizzy, we're from the same neighborhood.
Okay.
So yeah, man, we was just talking about you, man. I'm like, yo, bro, like really, really be doing some good write-ups and you know, stuff like that, man. So I really, really salute what y'all got going on over there on that platform. You know, keep up the good work, man.
Yes, sir. Shit, you as well. You know, but I mean, it's lots of stuff interesting about you. But before we start touching on that, I want to ask, what does Skull Gang constitute now? Is there still a group, or is it just a label?
It's just well.
I mean, like, is it gonna be like a Hero Rab, all that project again?
Shout out to Rab, you know,
Yeah,
shout out to Nero, shout out to Mikasa, shout out to everybody that, you know, Skull Gang Twin, everybody that was a part of that.
Shout out Rab down there in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, that whole umbrella. I was incarcerated when it really like took off, but because I was already around before that even was existed. You know, I've been around since like I met Juelz in 05, like as we spoke in the interview, but I didn't start really coming on the scene with them until I was coming on the scene like when I did my first project with Hell Rel over there, when it was just Dipset, you know, but I didn't have like Juelz was busy. He was busy with Bezel at the time. So he didn't really have the time to focus, you know what I'm saying? He was just getting to know me. So I didn't really start coming around like fluently until once I got out of jail 2010 and I got on that show, and then it was history from there. So it was like I was at events like 5 times, 6 times a month.
But then you don't need, I mean, you know, not to take anything away from Juelz, and shout out Juelz, but you don't need anybody to prop you up. I mean, you've managed to stand on your own quite well. I mean,
absolutely.
You have hit records. I mean, I don't want anybody listening to this just think this is some, you know, affiliate or something. This is a legitimate artist right here.
Thank you. Yeah. You know, that was just, you know, I got a lot of stuff under my belt, and that was just my upbringing of being a protege and coming into the game and learning a lot of things and just never forgetting where I came from. But I always had my own squad. You know what I'm saying? As you can see on my arm, you know, I came in like that, and that was one thing that, shout out to my man Akasa. He actually go get his Vanilla Sky EP. He dropping that on Christmas, and you know, he got the Cranberry Vodka clothing too. So he was always one of the people that would tell me, like, you know, you around, you one of us, but don't forget about your own brand. He has always elaborated on that, and you know, throughout the years of me now being legitimized, I've been legitimized for a while, but I learned how to run my own team with, you know, taking different artists from different states and putting them under my entity and actually putting projects out. So yeah,
you got that platform for the unsigned artists, right?
Yes, pass the torch. We actually on volume 4.
How are those doing? I listened to number 3, but I looking at the numbers, I see they've gone up like a nice amount.
Yeah. We almost at 12,000 in volume 3, and that's actually a good thing for artists that people's never heard of.
Yeah, and it's totally organic, as in like you're not buying no posts, none of that stuff.
I mean, the most I do is like as far as like promotions, because I tell people, like the other day, I had posted the other day on Facebook. I said, you know, there's a lot of artists that has already made a hit record. They just haven't promoted the record.
Yeah, true indeed.
You know, yes, you know, you gotta go to a person like yourself and go to these DJs and go to these platforms and go to Spotify and really go to campaigning and where it says advertisement and stuff like that. Because you, like you said, people buy things and stuff like that, but I don't want to do it that way. I can't see. When I came in the game, I came when I dropped my first mixtape 03. So I had caught the whole digital wave right when it started.
Right.
You know, on MySpace, I was already almost 7 digits in.
Got you.
Alone, you know. So, but like I knew how to adapt to the game, and you know, I was still a student and I was learning. So I caught it early. So for anybody that was before that, they didn't really know how to transition within, you know, the digital world. I did, because I paid attention. You know, I was watching Soldier Boys and, you know, how they, you know what I'm saying, how they finagled that. But yeah, it's working real great for me.
I mean,
bro.
everybody don't got your network game, man. Like your network game is insane. Cause like just now you said you was locked up in 2010, but then I'm watching fucking Castle.
I got out.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I got out February 28th, 2010, and I ain't never looked back.
But you done, the network game is amazing. So February 2010, and then you on Hulu on the Stephen King show. So how's that come about?
Well, I always wanted to be an actor, and you know, my manager, she was like, you know, you should try out for acting. And you know, my ex-girlfriend, she was into the acting world and stuff like that. So she was already in, like, you know, casting companies and stuff. So the first time I got casted, I had got casted for NBC. It was a pilot, a wedding pilot. And I had got casted down in Savannah, Georgia. And then from there, like, I want to say like 2 months later is when I got the show, the Castle Rock show. And then like in that same month, I had did a photo shoot. And when I did the photo shoot, I met all the things that they required. I fit the description. Right. So I sent them my photo shoot, and they picked me for that. And then I did another film within the same month, and I'm gonna call the company tomorrow to see when it's dropping, when they releasing that film. I did another film with Chris Evans. It's called Defending Jacob.
Okay.
And it's a film. It's based out of Sudbury, Massachusetts, because that's where he's from. So yeah, I was a part of that film too. I was on the set for 16 hours, bro.
Oh yeah, they say that movie life is hard work.
Yeah, you can learn a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying, when you sitting there, it's definitely different from what I'm used to. But you know, it's just like any other business. You start at the bottom and you work your way up. So, you know, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown how my experience was throughout that day. So I'm there. I'm meeting a lot of upcoming actors, people that's getting paid more than me, obviously. But I'm learning how to reach that level of getting to that level of being able to get paid. So what I learned out that day, you know, you can start out as an extra, and then they got this thing called SAG. SAG is the Actors Union. So how you get into SAG, you got union dues, and basically you can only do SAG roles, but that's where the money's at. So SAG is the speaking roles. See, when you do extras, you don't get your name on the credits, but you still in the system, you still got the check and stuff like that. You can still use it on your resume.
That's like I-9 work.
Yeah.
Like the SAG, the SAG card, then your money, you start building up to get health insurance and all that other type of shit.
Right. I met a man there. I can't remember his name, but I was on the film, you know, with him, and he was real cool with Chris Evans, and he was like, I could show you how to move up fast in this business if you're willing to invest into your career. And he was just giving me pointers. He's like, I got he said, yeah, I just made $10,000 the other day doing a SAG role. And I said, for what? He was like, I did a jail scene in Power. And he got paid $10,000 for that.
So let me ask you this. If it came down to, yeah, I heard that. If it came down to music or movies, and you had to choose, like you only had enough time for one, what would you go with? The love, the money? What would you do?
Well, I'm always gonna go with, like, I love music. That's kind of like, that's not a fair question because I'm so indebted to music, you know. But I do like the acting. I'm still getting my feet wet. I only got 2 films under my belt. But, you know, and then I actually got those in the same month. See, when I got casted for NBC, it never went through, but it still shows that I was casted for that. But the other 2 films, those was actually done. One's released on Hulu as we speak, and then the other one, I don't know the release date on that. I'm going to.
You said I only got 2 films. That's 2 more films anybody in the building I grew up in ever was in.
I know, but you know what it is, man. It's like the acting is so, like, when you look at actors like Will Smith and Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson, like, these guys is iconic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard Will Smith gets like $250 million a movie.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sheesh.
Probably not after Gemini Man, but yeah.
I'm like, sheesh. You know, that's nothing compared to me being on the scene, getting the what? You know, you could make a good few thousand, but like I said, you got to get the speaking role.
Right.
I mean, all that counts. All that counts. Like, I'm not downgrading what I have already accomplished.
Oh, nah. If anything, it's more of a comment on your ambition. Like if anything, if I had to describe you in one word, I'd say ambitious.
Yeah. It was a real great experience, you know. And the thing about it, what I was more excited about was learning, because I was in there asking questions. I was speaking to the director. Because I never been on a movie set.
Right.
You know, so I'm seeing, like, they're like, you can't do that, you can't film this, you can't release this until the trailer's out and stuff like that, because it ruins it. And, you know, but it was a very great experience, and they take care of you the whole time you're there. You're getting paid. But see, they wait, like I told you, I was on a set for 16 hours. It took me like 14 hours just to do my part.
Right.
You know, but the whole time I'm learning, they feeding me good. They feeding everybody. It was a real wonderful experience, man. And it was really professionally put together, very organized. But the thing about it, you could look at a scene and like, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, let's say if me and you do a scene, right? And the clip of it is only 2-3 minutes long. We could be doing that scene all day.
Right.
Yeah, all day. You would be like, it took us all day to do 3 minutes?
Nah, I feel you, bro. But let's switch it up a little bit. Do you think the average listener is aware of how important Boston has been to hip hop?
I'm going to say nah.
I don't think so either. But Boston's been incredibly important to hip hop.
But we are. You got people that's individually doing things in their hot individually, but as a whole, we gotta get it together more. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, shout out to the people that is doing it. You know.
Well, you know, when hip hop first started, Boston was one of the only cities that was booking people.
Right. You know what? You recording this, right?
Yes, sir.
When you finish this, please send me this. I need that clip that that thing that you just said. I'm gonna repost that. You know, I'm gonna repost that because people don't realize that. Like we Boston's always on the tour list for all artists though. That was one thing that I realized. A lot of artists, it's kind of like New York, right? No matter what genre of music you're doing, especially hip hop, some way, shape, and form, you're going to have to pass through New York.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate you acknowledging that, you know what I'm saying, especially you being in a whole different state and knowing that and realizing that.
Well, I mean, if you look at the history, when Boston shows weren't violent back in the day, then all of a sudden now Providence is like, oh, it's cool to book rap acts. You know, Rhode Island's, it's cool to book rap acts. You know, it took it to go over Boston for that to happen. That. I mean, I like to read a little bit.
And and that's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing that you know that. We done hit up Rhode. My mother and them live out there, but we done hit up Rhode Island like 4 times in 1 year. So that's wonderful that you know that. And that's why I want to post that, because that's just not highlighting that, but the consumers.
Well, think about this. If that market don't open up, then is there room for a New York artist to be independent? I mean, think of how much money French Montana or Max B, for instance, made before they had record deals touring New England.
Yeah.
Which, you know, and you got to generate money to be able to continue a music career. Because how many people have retired because they couldn't make money? They were good dope.
Right. And Max B was all through Boston on a regular. I know plenty of people that Max B done been to their houses and all that. Yeah, you know, he did a lot of features.
So people couldn't live without New England, bro. Hartford, all that,
right?
You know? Right. I mean, mixed units up there,
right, yeah, because you know, right, yeah, right. You know, speaking of Connecticut, shout out to my man, Big Mike the Ruler, man. He's always showing love, man.
That's a legend.
You know, yeah. Big Mike, he was always coming up to Boston, dropping off his mixtapes. They had this store up on Blue Hill Ave. It was called On Top. And Big Mike, he used to just drive up to Boston. This is back when shout out to my man Fendi. I ain't spoke to Fendi in years, but they used to just come up there. They had to come up DVDs. They used to just always. I miss that. Don't you miss that mixtape era like that? I had all type of mixtapes. There was one time when I was on 200 mixtapes in 1 year.
Damn. But hell yeah, I miss that era. Cause I mean, think about you. I mean, I know you listen to all the Dipset shit. So like the Diplomats Volume 1 through 5. Think of all them songs that came out that couldn't get clear because the Prince sample. If it wasn't for a mixtape, we never would have had that. No diamonds and pearls. You know what I'm saying?
And then back then though, like they was like the only ones that had the collabors license. Because when you have a collabors license, you could put out those mixtapes as albums to where the artists wouldn't have a problem with it because they're still making profit. But then the labels got hip to it, and they're like, "Wait a minute, hold up, DJ Drama's making how much money?" Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You remember what Drama and them got rated?
Yeah. I mean, and to be real, I mean, and you know, every time people say there's no such thing as systemic racism, that's yet another example. Because I guarantee if there had been a bunch of white EDM DJs, that shit wouldn't have happened to them.
Yeah, they was eating, bro. You know, they
was eating good.
They was eating up the mark. I was down south when that happened because I went to Job Corps in Georgia, so they was the affiliates. They was doing it.
Did you? I went to Job Corps in Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay, I went to Albany, Georgia. Then but I used to
what trade you do?
I did facilities maintenance and I did HBI.
God, me too. Built an apartment maintenance. Swear to God.
HBI Home Builders Institute. And the whole time that I was doing Job Corps, I got, like I said, when me and you did that interview, I left campus. And when I left campus for the weekend, that's when I met Santana.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah.
And obviously, you were aware of him. I mean, so like
Yeah, I knew they
had
was
all
coming
that
to
shit.
town.
What the game's been missing, me to you.
All that, yeah. I like.
And now you got a joint album
coming.
Now you got a joint album coming out with him. Man,
Yeah,
God is good.
Yeah, EP, man. I'm just
Joint
working,
EP.
man. I'm so glad that through just the COVID, because that was the only, like, I feel, yeah, everybody's been affected by COVID within some way. But I'm fortunate enough to actually was still to generate income, not being able to tour. So, I've been doing a lot of collaborations, and I never stop recording. I'm always working. And, and that's the key to fulfill a publishing deal. You keep on making music.
Man, it seems like everybody who did good or who was at least maintained has been able to, get a lot of features out. And I wonder what separates an artist like you and then someone who might even have the same numbers as you, but they're not selling all these features. Like my co-host St. Laz, he's selling a lot of features. Rich Gates is selling a lot of features. But I know other people that they're considered at the same number level, but they're not selling no features. Is that just networking and marketing?
So are we talking about previous artist that has out a previous project, but it's not recent, but they still got good numbers, or we talking about somebody that has a current project?
Well, I mean, I don't want to call out I don't want to call out no names of people who ain't doing good. You feel me? But there's people that
we don't want to do that.
There's people I'm surprised that they've struggled so much financially, and then I see someone like yourself who's at the same level as some of these individuals I'm referring to, at least numbers wise, because I mean, who the fuck am I to judge what level somebody's at? You know what I mean? And I mean, you got like 4 new songs every week. Well, you don't. Somebody got a new song with you on them.
Yeah. And that's God. That's God. That's me counting my blessings, man, because I had to figure it out. But I had already figured it out before COVID hit. I didn't know, nobody knew something was gonna happen, but I just was already making these transitions with these different endeavors, the acting, the clothing. I'm getting into real estate. I was looking into opening up my own club, but that right now is on hold because we don't know where the world's going to be at. But then I'm getting into the legalized marijuana, all type of stuff. I'm just being a entrepreneur.
But you know what you know what everybody really want to know, right? Have you ever accidentally hurt yourself or anyone else with that watch?
Nah, I actually only had this watch for like a week and a half. It's funny. One of my best friends, and I just spoke to him right before me and you got on this this Zoom call. Shout out to my man Smalls. He brought me off the porch. I grew up with him in Mattapan. And he comes on my Instagram. He's like, bro, do you sleep with that watch on? And I was like, it's funny. I fell asleep with the watch the other day, and it was very, very uncomfortable.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but I love it, man. I never had a watch, a $5,000 watch, so I really wanted to, splurge on myself. You know what I mean? So I mean,
plus you're in an industry that where you gotta draw people's attention. That's certainly an eye catcher.
Yeah, but I'm not in competition with nobody but myself. Stuff like this, it don't mean nothing when you go to the grave. But I'm going to enjoy these things while I'm here. You know what I'm saying? And I always, cause bro, Mark, I've been around the industry, like just behind the scenes for a while. So I know what levels and what things that I want. You know what I'm saying? To a person that never seen no success at all, and they're new to that, they're gonna be like super, super, super excited. Not saying that I'm not excited, because I'm very, very grateful of it.
But you're not content.
Yeah, right. Especially when you got friends that live in the Hamptons. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm real, real grateful, Because I remember I remember when I was $200 a feature. My first show, I got paid $300. But now I'm five to 10. I got offered $10,000 to go to the UK for half an hour.
That's what's up.
You know.
But speaking of where you came from,
Yeah,
you know,
so
a lot of people probably don't know what's Mattapan like. And like, why is every Boston movie always like white crime? Like I personally know there's some hood ass shit that happens in Boston. Why all the movies always like The Town and all the and Whitey Bulger and all that shit?
Oh man, shout out. I'm glad you said that, because that was the first that I was, bro, you took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to mention The Town. Shout out to Slain.
Yeah, he gets his man in that jump.
Is a real one.
You know Slain?
Slain is a real one.
He's
Shout
a
out
driver
to
in the town.
Affleck.
He's a driver in The Town, for those who are unaware, and he's also an incredible rapper. Slain, definitely shout out Slain.
Oh yeah, La Costa Nostra. Yes. He's one of the legends from our city. He's from Charlestown, if I believe. But yeah, that's a part of Boston. And shout out to Mark Wahlberg, you know, everybody that has done it, that brought that light to the city, especially on the acting. You know, see, when you're talking about acting, those are actors.
Right.
Those are top of the lines. Like, you know, and that's why I said I'm at the bottom when it comes to acting, but I'm grateful to even be like, my first film that I got casted for is produced by Stephen King. So yes, that's amazing. So coming from Mattapan, we didn't really have too many heroes. We got shout out to my triple OG, Big Suge. He's old school hip hop legend from the rap group Gangstar with Guru.
Right.
Yeah, so he Big Suge.
Oh, like
from
like Malachi the Nutcracker and all that type shit.
Yeah, Big. He's from our neighborhood.
Okay, yeah. I've heard him on Gangstar. I know who that is. I know the name. I'm gonna go listen and hear a verse.
Yeah, he grew up with my mother.
Okay.
Yeah, he grew up with my mother, and when I was 14 years old, you know, my mother knew a couple of rappers from the neighborhood. She knew Benzino. Shout out to Benzino. That was the first rapper to ever put a platinum chain on my neck. And she just knew when I decided to be a rapper, she was just looking like, she went to Benzino and was like, I got a problem. My son wants to be a rapper, and he's just like, listen, you might as well let him, because if you tell him no, he's gonna try to go do it anyway. So just be there for him. You know, there's a lot of snakes. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in the game, and you know, just be there for him. You know, let him try it out to see if he like it. Because you know, when you a kid, you know what I'm saying, you might want to do something one week, and then the next week you want to do something else. You know, that's how we are as the young youth. We're acquisitive like that. Mm-hmm. So, but I really liked it, you know, and I just kept on writing. And I just kept getting better and better at it, you know, and I liked it. So, but to answer your question, Mattapan, the population of Mattapan is about 33,000 people. I know it's 30,000 and up, you know, but yeah, that's like the population. So Mattapan it goes Milton, Mattapan, Dorchester, Roxbury, and then you got the South End and all that. So Mattapan, there's a lot of like, it's different now, but yeah, it's a very, very, it's like any other place in you know, in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? You got people that's putting businesses in the neighborhood. You got your hustlers. You got your college people that's not into those type of activities, but they happen to live around the area.
The rent cheap, and there's so many colleges around Boston. I didn't even think of that. So yeah, that would be a little bit different.
Well, the rent ain't cheap.
Oh, it's not.
Nah. Especially you looking at, for a house, $500,000. like literally, and that's in the ghetto.
Right.
Yeah, but they cleaning up a lot of stuff. They cleaned up like where Malcolm X is from. He's Roxbury,
Roxbury, yeah.
and Dudley. They making that all like a part of downtown. So they they move a lot of people out, and then they bring in the upper class and stuff like that. They cleaning it up. Like I love my city. I just wish we because I lived in Atlanta and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
So you saw that unity.
And, yeah. Gucci, shout out to Gucci, man, because Gucci was one of them. He put I don't know another artist in the industry that has put on that many art. Well, Master P too. You know what I'm saying? But for that many artists at one time,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? From one person, but then as a whole, you got like 30 artists buzzing out the same city at one time. Boston don't got that. We got people that's yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I brought up the Pass the Torch.
I swear I was about to say, listen to Pass the Torch. If you don't believe me, anyone who's listening to this, look, it's on DatPiff, all streaming services. Pass the Torch, hosted by Tru-L.
I've never been scared of. I'm not scared of competition. Like I love seeing people eat, man. I really do. But bro, I was raised with gratitude. My mother, can I swear?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
My mother, if we didn't have no sportsmanship, I would get my ass whipped for being a hater. That's why I never was a hater. You know what I'm saying? If you lose, you shake that person's hand. That's how my mother raised us.
But some people be thinking like every time somebody wins something, they lost something. And
how you really lose if it was a lesson?
Oh, I totally agree. I feel like when I see somebody winning, that's motivation for me to do better if I got any type of feelings.
Yeah, like
like if I got a feeling of discontentment, that it really should be it's discontentment of my position. It ain't on no one else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a lot of times hatred is people are scared to examine themselves. Like, where is this jealousy?
Right. Right. And you know what they do? They be scared because it's like I think we was put on earth and trained to not believe in ourselves. So some people fall short of that and they try to project that off on the next person. Like you could be like, you'll come to a person with an idea, right? And before they even look at the brighter side of it, if it didn't work out for them, oh, it ain't gonna work out for you, Mark. How can you just say that?
Exactly.
How can you just, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna just take my hope and see, nobody could stop me from believing in myself. But what if my confidence wasn't that high? What if I needed a second opinion to make me feel better? But see, that's the thing of being confident within yourself,
right?
You know. But everybody's not like that, and I wish, like I was just saying the other day, at this point in time, it's very, very sad. You got a lot of people with anxiety, people feeling hopeless. There's a lot of depression. You go on Facebook, rest in peace this, rest in peace that, COVID, all that. So it's like, I was always, my mother, she instilled something in me to where I always felt like it's going to be okay, Mark. Like I always looked at life like that. Like, look at the brighter side of things. Things could be worse. I always like you ever run across people that be like they're poor and they're not really poor, because we know what poor is when we look at TV shows and we see them kids in Africa and they don't have nothing.
Right.
At all. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's poor.
Right.
Poor is not where you can't walk up in a Louis Vuitton store and get the flyest shoes today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Like, so I think people, I don't like how they misuse that term, because to somebody that's really, really going through that,
there's no poverty without
they'll
hunger.
look at it like, well, your life, right.
If you had something to eat today, you doing something. You doing a little bit, all right. I mean, bro, I think they said something like people in America today have a higher standard of living than 99% of people who've lived in history. Some shit like that. I know it's something outrageous. I mean, with these phones and compute. I mean, like I remember when, like, if you missed a show, you just missed a show. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I like your background too. I could tell you're a hip hop fanatic, man.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. That's your wall of fame that you was telling me about?
It's one of them. There's some over there. It's a sports and all that shit. Marvels and shit for my kids in the comic books. We be like all them comic book movies together. But like I like putting up shit that I like. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel comfortable in tattoo parlors. I like the decorations of tattoo parlors.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But then like the whole house ain't like that. There's a place for like proper folk to come. You know, my wife a teacher and shit. She ain't from the same background as me. She from where like George Washington grew up.
Okay, me and you had, so I remember speaking to you before, and me and you had something in common. So you're familiar with what? Correct me if I'm wrong. You was around the infamous mob?
Not directly, or not really at all. Really, I used to work really closely with Son from Zoo Life, and he was touring Europe with Mobb Deep. Oh, and every now and then through him, I might do some promotional work or things of other natures.
Man, that's great, man. Because I remember the first time I spoke to Havoc on the phone, man. I'm such a diehard Mobb Deep fan. You can't tell me nothing about Mobb Deep, yo. Like for
actually,
real.
Can you tell me something about Mobb Deep? Because I don't want to be wrong. It was either the Shook Ones or the Survival of the Illest video.
Survival is
when they was rocking the camp, the Survival of the Fittest, and they was rocking the fatigue coat, and like where I was from, nobody was wearing that. I saw that video one time, and you can call me Pressed or Obama or Get With or whatever. But I took my ass to St. Surplus that day and caught me a motherfucking Army fatigue jacket.
Yeah, man, I love Mobb Deep, man. A
month later, the whole DC had them shits. You know what I'm saying?
And that right there, that's setting the trend. That conversation with me and Havoc was so epic. And it was after I got out of jail. Havoc and them used to be signed. Well, all right, so you remember the label Amalgam Digital that Max B and Joe Buttons and all them was on?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so let me tell you about that.
Hey, hold on, let me segue 1 second. If anybody has a physical copy of the Max B Amalgam Digital CD, I will buy it for $100. Please contact me. But please go ahead.
So let me tell you about that. Shout out to Nexie. Nexie was the one that owned that label too. So Amalgam Digital used to be called Lance Speed Records.
Oh, really?
And it was located in.
That's a great 50 Cent tape and everything. Yeah. Oh, I know Lance Speed.
Yeah, they was
Meg, all that.
Yeah, they was located in Quincy, Massachusetts. So Mobb Deep, after they got off of J, I think it was Jive or they were signed to Clyde Davis. After they did the America's Nightmare album, it was either after or before, but they was free agents. So they went independent and they did a distribution with Lance Speed. So Havoc, he came up, Prodigy was locked up at this time. He was doing the 3 years for the Hammer charge. Yeah. So Havoc, he came up to Boston and he was on 945. And I was my man, rest in peace to my man DJ On and On. He was a real great factor in the hip hop scene of Boston and being on the radio. So I called up to the radio station and me and Havoc, I had some questions for him. And one of my questions was, what made y'all go over to Lance Speed, being from New York, going into having a machine behind you like Loud Records.
Right.
What made you go from the majors and then come over to Lance Speed? And just that conversation
What'd he say?
of him
Creative freedom?
explaining it. Yeah, he wanted, more money, more, what I'm saying? When you get when you getting like $6 a record, you know what I'm saying? You looking at it like that. Because that's exactly what happened. They did that and then they went to G Unit right after.
Yeah, that I guess the Land Speed release was probably that Free Agent mixtape jump, right?
Yeah, it was the Free Agent thing, but Land Speed had folded at the time.
Got
Then
you.
when they folded, that's when they came back as Amallium Digital a couple of years later.
Man, I wish more people would listen to the Prodigy Bumpy Johnson. I feel like that's such an underrated part of their catalog.
Yeah, man. Prodigy, man. I feel like even though Tupac is from Harlem originally, but if you had to just keep Tupac in the West Coast, to me, I always felt like Prodigy was our East Coast Tupac, if that makes any sense.
I mean, it would if you were speaking to somebody that wasn't from Maryland, because I'm from PG County, so we look at it as like Tupac is our Maryland Tupac.
Oh yeah, because he went to school out there, right?
And he started rapping out there, and he cut his first music out there, yada yada. But I mean, that's just
I just like
New York claimed Michael Jordan because he was born there. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. So but like that I always feel like, and I'm like a real strong Mobb Deep fan. So
when you was going to that store you was talking about, in the mixtape store, was you able to get like Clue tapes and shit in the 90s?
Yeah, I was, man. Mixtape for Dummies, we was all on that. We had this.
Prodigy destroyed them Clue, man, for like 2 years straight. Them Summertime Shoot, all them shits. Clue for President 1 and 2.
Yeah, we had one. I used to go. We had you get 5 mixtapes for $5 a piece, man. And I would eat up all the mixtapes. I wasn't nowhere close to nice as I am now. I honestly, back then, I wasn't that far from being trash. You know what I'm saying? But I always stepped up. I always like stayed on my craft, and everybody that follows me, they tell me I'm not surprised. They're not surprised that I'm where I'm at now because I always was driven. But yeah,
that not being a hater, that's a perfect example. Because if you're not afraid of competition, iron sharpens iron, and you're gonna get better.
Right. And then having that conversation with Havoc, when he forever told me, we spoke about Core Mega. I actually spoke to Core Mega too after that too. Core Mega might not remember, but if I run it by him, he'll remember, having a conversation with me, because I would call up to the radio station while they were special guests up there. But when Havoc told me, just hit him up, let's see if we could come up with some music. He said he'll do a beat for me. That meant a lot to me, man. That Murder Music, that album, I remember 1999. I was in middle school when that came. I was in 7th grade. That album right there, I love it. I could listen to that album back to back to back to back to back.
That's your favorite Mobb Deep jump?
Yeah, that and the Infamy. Well, the Infamous, the one with the shook ones.
Yeah,
and then Murder Music. That's my all-time favorite. And then
I would say Murder Music is my favorite.
Yeah,
bro, imagine if they made an album of the unreleased jumps, all them jumps from the Clue. I guess there were sample issues, man. Because there's some songs. Do you remember there was this one song where they was talking about, it was this white dude that was selling drugs in their hood, and I mean, not like for real, but like it was a story rap, and basically they set this dude up for a robbery uptown, but it ended up being a shootout in a Chinese restaurant. And that shit was like one of them. And I might I would have to wrong, but it was so vivid. And I was like, damn, why this shit can't be on a record? Because that's when I was too young to know about sample clearances,
And their beats was so melodic. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish this conversation with me and Havoc was recorded. It was so priceless. Like, that was like a dream come true to me. Like, I'm not gonna even hold you. I'm not gonna even front on this Zoom. Like a tear came to my eye, because I'm like, wow, yo, I never in my life thought I would speak to Havoc. And then I found myself being at a cookout with my man Godfather Part 3.
Okay, G-O-D.
Yeah.
Part 3.
My man, I met him at a cookout in Boston. Him and Big Noise was cool with one of my older mans. And I'm like,
Big Noise.
I'm like, Yeah, I'm like, yo, y'all know these dudes, and I'm like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying?
Big Noy got some ill solo albums. People don't
Yeah,
even know. And that
yeah,
Murder Music movie, I swear to God, he wasn't that bad of an actor. Speaking of the actor,
I might pop that in the DVD player when we get off the phone. Yeah, that's one of my favorites, man.
I might do that shit. Man, that shit was way better than I would have thought. I didn't even know it existed because I was locked up and I came home and I saw it in like the FYE or some shit, whatever the fuck it was back then. And I was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
But like
Yeah,
I don't want to
man.
disrespect nobody's shit, but it was a lot better than some camps movies.
But you
Especially
want to
Big
know
Noise.
something though?
What's that?
But you want to know something though? Even back then, they was talking about the independent circuit back then, and not just them. Master P's been saying the same thing for years, and it's just we didn't really look at even Ice Cube with the lynch mob and all that, but the independent route just felt like it didn't really get hot into Alan Grumblack. Shout out to Alan Grumblack, which is now E1 now from Koch Records. They made the independent circuit like really, really, really hot when when Jim Jones came out with the Ballin', because he was the top selling independent artist.
Well, I mean, old school independent, y'all were at a disadvantage because, like in California, they could go to those swap meets. In the South, you could go anywhere and sell it out your trunk. But
right,
when we up on the East Coast, you can't just go in anybody's neighborhood.
And you know what? If we're gonna say that, we can't forget about Slim Thug and Zero and Texas, period. Because Texas,
Michael Watts,
yeah,
Jay Prince,
Texas. Yes,
bro. Before I lived here, I lived in Houston for about 5 years, and I'm telling you, there's people you never heard of, and you will never hear of them, and they don't give a fuck if their music ever gets anywhere outside of Texas, Oklahoma, and I forgot the other state like New Mexico or Kansas or some shit. And these motherfuckers is making millions. Like they're still mad. They're still mad. Like, and I'm not being racist. Like I'm talking about literal Mexicans from Mexico, and they still want CDs. And there's Latino artists, like look up GT Garza, but these motherfuckers sell so many fucking CDs. I used to be amazed.
You ain't lying, bro.
It'd be cats you never heard of. They got roses. Not and not like I'm using bad English. Like they have multiple Rolls Royces. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't lying, bro. And they got that, what they call it, candy paint and all that. I remember that era. That tipping on 4/4s. What was the other joint? Mike Jones and all that. The Chameleonaire. That was Chameleonaire is another one. I was looking at something with Chameleonaire yesterday. And he was on like a
Did you ever peep he doesn't cuss?
Yeah,
he never cussed to none of them Jones. A lot of people never noticed that.
Yeah, he got they had him in the category of rapper, one of the rappers that never went broke.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think I remember something about him like with some wild investment shit, but I don't want to say stuff I'm not. But before we get out of here, I want to fuck your head up on the investment shit. You know who invested in Zoom?
Who?
Andre Iguodala. Everybody that's listening, look this up. Andre Iguodala's probably made more money from investing in Zoom than he did in the NBA just because of COVID, because all the schools use Zoom.
Right. But now I'm gonna ask you: you think he made more money than Facebook?
Oh no, not yet, not at all. But if this shit keeps up, I just say made more money made in the NBA. Shit, the NBA probably don't make more money in Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
But that's kind of, I don't know, man. The NBA make a lot of money, and you don't think that's reaching? Zoom making more. No, you're saying no. You didn't say. Oh, sorry, bro. I misquoted you. You didn't say Zoom made more money than the NBA. You said he made more money than he made.
And he's made more than 100 million in his career. Like I don't know. There's a Forbes article that was like, damn, Andre Iguodala is caking it. He might be like, for real, he might be the second richest NBA player after LeBron James. I'm telling y'all, look this shit up. Andre Iguodala Zoom, shit's fucking amazing. Salute to him, because that was a smart ass play. Because I mean, you know about it. You got money. People come to you with investment ideas all the time, and it'd be hard to differentiate which ones are good and which ones are bad. And I guess that's as good place as any. I want to thank Tru-L for joining us tonight. Thank you for joining the Big Fact Show. And y'all have a good evening.